Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Wow, what a weekend. I hope you guys had a great weekend here on the East Coast. In Philly today, it's a little cloudy, but they didn't say anything about rain. So, I'll take the cloudiness over top of snow and all this coldness and everything like that. I just want to remind everybody that if you want to ask questions, please go to the Unapologetically Me page on Facebook, or you can go to our YouTube channel, which is also called the Philadelphia Women's Network Connection. And this way you'll be able to ask me and my guest questions today. So we're going down to Alabama, y'all. Alabama, that Southern hospitality that I love. And this gentleman that I'm about to bring on, he's just amazing. Hey, Taylor, thank you for joining us. Actually, Taylor is coming from Florida. So Taylor sent us some beautiful, beautiful sunshine and some great weather. So I want to welcome everybody today. Like I said, I had a great weekend, celebrating my queen, my mom, 87 years young. Like I told her, she was so excited that the family came and celebrated her this weekend. And I said, you give people their flowers when they're alive. When they're dead, they can't appreciate it. You appreciate them, you love on them, and you just do everything you can to be a light, a positive light in your family. So anyway, enough about what's going on in my life, what I did this weekend. We are going to bring on our guest because I want you to meet this fabulous guy. So without further ado, everyone, please help me welcome to the studio, Mario Brown. Hey, Mario.
Hey, how are you? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited. I'm like a little kid. Look at me. I am like a little kid only because people do not know our history. They do not know our story. And thank you guys for joining us today. And again, I'm just going to remind you, if you want to ask us any questions, please go to there. But Mario.
Yes.
Okay, Mario, man of many, many things. I don't even know where to start, to be honest. I really don't. I really don't know where to start. But anyway, we got to start somewhere. So, founder and owner of Life Matters LLC. I always ask my guests before we start anything, where and how did we meet?
Wow. We met a few years ago, actually.
Mhm.
Again, hi, everybody. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea. We met a few years ago. I had a podcast at that time, and I believe that it was Latanya Moore, my
Mhm.
business partner, that connected us.
Mhm.
And she told me, she said, you really need to bring Felicia onto your podcast. She has a very interesting story, great woman. And I reached out to her and we connected. And she was like my sister. It was this unique bond that we shared. Her story was fascinating. She was easy to talk to, easy to interview. And I remember, Felicia, you were sitting in your kitchen. You were at your kitchen table. And we were like, it was like we were having coffee together, and we talked about your story. And I asked you so many questions about walking in your purpose and your destiny. I think you were transitioning from leaving the corporate America community. You've been
Mhm.
starting your own organization. And I thought it was so fascinating because your story from transitioning out of corporate America into this faith walk is what it was.
Mhm.
And this call to purpose was so unique to me. You were just bold about it. And if you were afraid, nobody could tell. Because even if you were, you did it scared. You know what I mean? And,
Yes,
and we've been close ever since. We've talked on Facebook and all this kind of stuff, but there was this genuine connection, and the authenticity that I got from you was just very real. And more than anything else, you've always been consistent. You've been consistent in your purpose, in your goals, in your connections. And no matter what happened, any of the setbacks, I always saw you persevere. And that was always very admirable. That was an admirable attribute that you had. So that's how we met.
yes, yes. Well, Mario, you were the second person to interview me when I actually started the business.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
it's so funny because I always say that the first person that interviewed me opened the door for everything else. And then you came along and you asked me to come and be on your show. And of course, I was, I was honored. I was excited because when people start recognizing you, and especially you're in Alabama and I'm in Philadelphia. So when
Yes.
people started recognizing you and letting everyone know what it is that you do, walking in your purpose, it's a wonderful thing. So I appreciate you. And yes, it started from there and it turned into a wonderful, not only business relationship, but a great friendship. And,
Sure.
you have to be careful when you're out here calling people friends.
Right.
Everybody's not a friend. You have to distinguish who are the friends, who are the associates, who are the seasonal people, and everything like that. So I want you to do what you do, Mario. It's on you.
But let me say this too. I think that one of the most powerful connections is when you find people that have a kindred spirit, a
Yes.
kindredness in purpose, a kindredness in pursuit. And you always carried such a humility about what you did. I always thought you were like super gifted. And I said, but there was this unique humility that you carried. And we meet people who have false humility.
Mm-hmm.
Yours was very genuine.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very genuine. And I think we went over our time because we connected so well.
Yes.
And I didn't even care. I said, I need to connect with you because when LaTanya recommended you to me and we started talking, I was like, okay, we only have 30 minutes. And I think we talked an hour. And it just went from there. And that was because what you do is so powerful for women. And I think that you always reached out to an underserved, overlooked, disregarded community, but you empowered at the same time. And that's what I seek to do, to always find a way to empower people so that when they leave your space, when they leave out from being with you or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
they leave better than when they came. That's the whole goal for me, is that when you leave my presence, I want you to leave empowered. And that's what I saw when I looked at your work, because I thoroughly looked at what you did before we connected. And I was like, yeah, this is perfect. This is perfect for me. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what? And I like that because I run a women's organization. A lot of times men will say, well, do you work with men too? Or do you do things with men as well? And I say our events are for everyone. Because if you are a business person, there is something that you can learn that will help you in your business, whether you are a man or a woman, whether you're starting a business, a seasoned business person, whatever it is, or what is it that you are trying to achieve. So tell me a little bit about what you do in Life Matters. I know you are a pastor.
Mhm.
And I know that, I'm going to let you tell your own story. So tell us what it is that you do.
Well, thank you. I have a mindset transformation company. And what I do is I help people in Life Matters to adjust their mindset for where they want to go. One of the things that I've always discovered is that people can achieve if they change their mindset. Because we're raised with so many different mindsets that have been downloaded into us from family, from other people, that we rarely walk in an authentic call, an authentic purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so when your mindset, whenever you set goals, your mindset is the critical piece to connecting you to your future. How you see things, how you listen, how you process what it is you're pursuing. And if that mindset can change, you can achieve anything. I often refer back to growing up. My grandfather had a third grade education, but was extremely wise. He was an extremely wise man. And so I would listen to him. He didn't talk a lot, but when he talked, what came out of his mouth was so powerful. And he would always say to me, you must adjust your mind. No matter where you want to go, you've got to adjust. He said, because the way you grew up is not going to be the way you always live. And you're going to have to shift your mind to be able to see where you're going. So, as a pastor, I'm a preacher, so I can always take a principle out of scripture. There's a story where Nicodemus comes to Jesus at night.
Right.
And he says to him, he says, listen, I want to see the kingdom. And Jesus' response to him was so powerful. He said, except a man be born again, he cannot see. And I just stop it right there. We have to be born again in our mind. You think about if you grew up in poverty, but you have a desire to be wealthy, you're going to have to be able to be born again in your mind concerning poverty and wealth.
That is so true.
You're going to have to be, we have to be born again repeatedly. That's not just a process about going to church or being involved in the church. Being born again means I must let old mindsets pass away, and I must adapt to new mindsets, new patterns of thought, you see? And so I work to help people to qualify what they're holding on to in their mind. Because some people have listened to wives' tales, they've listened to grandma and big mom them tell you stuff that just doesn't serve you now. So let's take on a mindset change about where you want to go, and we can help you get there. So I spend all my time, I work with military people, I work with six-figure earners, lawyers, doctors, and I'm so humbled by it because it doesn't matter what your academic achievements are. You can always change or challenge what you think, how you see a matter. It's just simply about changing your mindset and being able to adapt to that and move into what you want to do. It's simple.
Yeah, I know. I love everything that you said. And what I love about you is that you're not the typical, I would say, pastor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And the reason why I say that is because, first of all, you keep it real, which I love. I mean, I see you sometimes put up some posts and I'll be like, woo, the church member's ready for this.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Oh, listen, I've been put in Facebook jail so many times for just saying just stuff that's real. You know what I mean? It's just, and I have this saying, in order to be healed, you got to be real.
Yes.
Right. And what we, I think where we end up, I don't know. Let me see. I want to say this. What we end up doing, Felicia, is crying out for more, but settling for less.
Yes.
Because we are afraid, because of cognitive dissonance, we are afraid to take on a school of thought that does not fit into our public persona.
Right.
You see, religion has binded up. It has put us in this box. And so we don't want to, we got to remember who we are. So if I say this, how will it align itself with who I am publicly? Right. But the question is that serving you now, though? Is that school of thought serving you? And is it true? So when we get to this place where we say, I want to be so real in my approach to what I am doing in this life that I am willing to forego any of the foolishness, the foolish thoughts that I've carried around that have no longer served me. I don't care if I'm a preacher or not. The reality is that all preachers don't tell the truth.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. Yeah. Let me come on here.
They just don't tell the truth. They say what the people want them to say. Yes. They're governed by that. But to be able to be very real about where we are as humans, see, that's the whole thing, Felicia. And I think that that's where we connect. You're reaching people where they are. And you're saying to them, I'm not here to judge your current position. I'm not here to do that. But what I am here to do is to present you with a unique opportunity to change your posture.
Yes.
Right? Because you think about it, where I'm sitting right now, because I'm on camera, I can see what's behind me in my living room. Where you're seated right now, you can see what's in front of you. But the disadvantage is what's behind you and how can you identify it except you change your posture. You have to get up and move your posture so that you can get the vantage point of what you cannot see. So what's really important is, do we have the wherewithal to take the challenge to get up from where we are and reposition ourselves so that we can see beyond what we've already seen? See, I know how we grow up and we see a certain world and we think that everything in that world dictates the rest of the world. Right. It's not true. It's not true. There are people who see the world differently. And for everybody that's out there today, if you are thinking about walking in purpose, then you've got to really ask your creator to give you a global mindset.
Yep.
You must see beyond your hometown. You've got to see beyond the streets you grew up on or the people that because see, I believe that our circumstances come from the circle in which we stand.
Yes.
It's that simple. When you get out of that circle and you get in another circle, you will find that other people are doing some things on a big level because they're in purpose. But if you stay in that same circle, your circumstances will come out of that circle. That's the critical thing.
That is so true. Well, you know what the saying is, if you hang around 5 broke people, you're bound to be the 6th broke person.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. Your circumstance, you create the environment, you create your lifestyle, you create your destiny. How many people have came up and made something out of themselves, and they'll say to you, I came out of the projects. My
Yes.
mother was a drug fiend. I was in the system, whatever. It's mindset. Everything starts with mindset. And that's one of the big things that I talk to women in my organization about. I can give you the tools, I can give you the meal, I can give you the utensils, but unless you have that mindset to sit down and eat that meal, there is nothing that Felicia or Mario can do ever that will make you become better in your business, in your life, whatever it is. There's nothing that we can do. The only thing that we can do is walk in our purpose and bring to you the message that was given to us. That's why I'm passionate about what I do with women. I want to see women win. It's not about being competitive. It's not a competition. It's a race. Run with me. Stand on the sidelines. Watch me go by. I don't want to hear, well, it didn't work. It didn't work because you did not work it. I gave you what was necessary. I gave you the tools. I gave you the time. I one of the things in PWNC is resources. I cannot tell you how much resources I pump into my women's group. Okay. How many take advantage of it? That's another story. But the resources are there. So, I love that you said about the barriers and not being a statistic. And the worst thing I hate is when someone says, I didn't have the opportunity because I was a Black person. I hate that. I hate that. You create your opportunities. I walked into some worlds, Mario, when I was in the medical field. No one looked like me, but they could not take one thing, the experience that I brought. Because when I came in there, I had the experience and I hit the ground running. Yeah. That was my credibility. So I don't care what you say about me, but I'm in there, I'm getting paid.
At the end of the day. At the end of the day. And I totally get it because I understand circumstances. We didn't get a choice. We didn't have a say-so in the families in which we were born, right?
That is so true.
Because quite frankly, if God had asked me, hey, Mario, what family? Here are 5 families. Here are some things about them. Choose. I would have chosen a different family. I ain't gonna even lie to you. I would have chosen a different family to be born into. I would have wanted a family that had plenty of money, access, the whole 9. That was not my lot. But what I did have are people who challenged me to think not just outside of the box, right, but to think in a global fashion. My grandfather would sit and challenge me and question me about why I wanted to do something. He said, so what's behind that? So the basis of my business is always what's behind the behavior, right? When I work with entrepreneurs who are trying to get into entrepreneurship, really, they're making transitions. So one of the things I ask them is your goal to help or to impact? Those are 2 totally different things.
Yes.
Totally different things. Because when you want to help, you're signifying to people, particularly those who want to make money, that you're going to give them everything. But when you say I want to impact, you're saying I want to make a mark in your life that can never be erased. I want to impart something to you that you can use for the rest of your life and share it with others until their lives are transformed.
Come on now.
That's the key, is to make sure that I am saying something to you or providing you with something that literally transform you from season to season of your life. And that means challenging you to qualify, why are you thinking that way? Why are you thinking that way? The limits that you're thinking about, where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get there? You see? And so once you start thinking, a lot of people say to me, like, no, Mario, like, why you have to ask me that? Why? I don't know. Right. We've not had anyone to question us. Where did that thought come from? And does it serve you now? In relationship, I have a relationship reality program. And I always ask people, what is your attachment style? How do you attach? You see? And they're like, well, I don't really know. And the truth of the matter is, none of us know that until we are questioned and exposed to how we learn to attach. Between 10 months and 20 months old, we learn attachment styles that early. And so now I understand why people are broken. I understand why they are fragmented. And let me get this real quick, because I don't want to take up all the time. I don't want to take up all the time talking.
No. That you take as much time as you need. This is your show.
Thank you so much. One of the things I use with my clients is I give them this example. So one day I was having a dinner party at my house. I invited some people over for dinner, and I love Waterford Crystal. So I had a Waterford Crystal picture, and I'll put some tea in that, right? Mm-hmm. And the doorbell rang because people were arriving, and I took the picture and I placed it, so I thought, on the counter, and I was getting ready to go to the door. All of a sudden, the picture fell on the floor and shattered, right? And I just to say that there were select words that I used at that moment. But one of the things that I noticed is that even broken, the shards of crystal were beautiful, but useless. They could not serve the purpose anymore. As beautiful as the broken pieces are, they could no longer serve their authentic purpose because they were shattered and fragmented. I tell you, there are people out here that look together, they look put together on the outside, but they're broken on the inside. They're public successes and private failures. My goal is to make sure that just as good as you are on paper, as good as you are publicly, that you're just that good privately. You see, that's important. And I was able to look at that, and that was a powerful revelation that this Waterford Crystal picture no longer serves any purpose. But it's beautiful, but it has to be discarded because it can no longer serve. Even if I tried to glue that back together, it still would not be the same. So we have to really be reborn and understand what your creator thought of you first. Before your parents imputed their desires upon you, what did your maker say about you? How were you made originally before everybody put you in school and they started downloading these images, right? All these images of what you should be. And so again, it's about getting back to your real authenticity. And you don't have to remain beautiful and broken. You can have the whole thing for real. Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Yes, I love it. You know, I love it. I always tell people the power is in the story. People want to see that you, first of all, that you're human. That's why I try my best when I am posting on my social media handles. Not only am I posting about my business mindset and different things like that, but I also show some personal things in my life. Like you'll show Tiggin, your fur baby, and we fell in love with him at doggy daycare today.
Yeah.
You know, but, you know, I want people to know that not only do they see Felicia, this business person, but they also see Felicia as a human being. You know, it's so important because I always tell people, I have not done anything differently than anyone else. Mm-hmm. The only thing I did different than you, Mario, or anyone else is I made a decision. I made a decision that I was not going to stay in corporate America. I made a decision that I wanted to change my life. I made a decision that I wanted better for me. I made a decision that 80 years old, I don't want to be at a job. Mm-hmm. I made that decision. So I know that everybody can't do it. And I'm very careful when I talk about jobs and entrepreneurships. Mm-hmm. There are people out there that love their jobs. I had jobs that I loved. Okay. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It's not for everyone. And it's definitely not for those that faint at heart. You know, if I always say, if you're looking to be the best person. You're looking for everybody to like you. You're looking for people not to talk about you. You're looking for not to lose friends or anything like that. Entrepreneurship is not for you. I
No.
can't tell you from the time I started my circle what it was and what it is now. But then I understand that is part of walking in your purpose.
Absolutely. And I totally agree. I used to say something at I was 19 years old. And I said, by the time I turn 30, I am not going to be clocking into anybody's job.
That's right.
Now, I spoke that year after year after year. And by the grace of God, at 29, I left the corporate America setting. And I had a great job. But let me tell you what it took, though. It took me willing to walk on the wild side of faith.
I hear you.
I walked away from Atlanta. I'm originally from Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I left Atlanta. And I was still working a corporate America job. And so I was on the road preaching at the same time. So I would take my sick leave time, my vacation time, and go do revivals. I would do them on the weekend and get a red eye back to the office on Monday morning. And so I knew I went to Nashville May 18th of 95. And so I went there to do a revival. And the Lord spoke to me and said, I want you to relocate here. I never left Atlanta. I've never been out of Atlanta except to travel. So I said, okay, all right. I'm going to consider it. I didn't know anybody. I had no friends there. I had no family whatsoever. But I knew I heard the voice of God say, relocate here. And this is where, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I honored what God said to me, and I moved to Nashville. I left my job. I had a brand new truck. I had a keyboard, a brand new keyboard. I don't even play, but I knew I was going to start a church, So I bought a brand new keyboard. I had all of my books and my clothes. And I went there to do this revival. And I remember a friend of mine, well, she wasn't my friend then, but she said, I believe what you say God said. So I have a 3-bedroom apartment. You can come stay here. Right. So now I didn't know her. And I'm just thinking now, how she gonna be trying to get with me now? You know what I'm saying? So just, I was thinking about that. She said, and I ain't doing no funny business either. Praise God. All right, we go. I moved there. And upon beginning there, somebody said, well, I want you to meet Brian Hogue. He runs the morning show at Fisk University radio station. I want you to come on there and just tell him that you're in the city. That morning, Felicia, that morning, he said to me, he said, I'm getting ready to leave this radio station. Would you like the morning show?
Wow.
I said, yeah. He said, I'll show you everything. Now, mind you, in high school, I worked at WCOK, Clark Atlanta University radio station. I had done an internship at WSB TV Atlanta. So I had been around it. And so I took that show and became the drive to work person on that every morning. I had to be on there at 5 o'clock in the morning. But guess what? I got a job when I first moved there across the street at Meharry School of Dentistry. So I would do the radio show and run across the street to clock in at Meharry. So it was a faith move, but it was also a purposeful move. So what am I saying? What is the purpose of sharing that with you? That you're going to have to believe that what you are destined to may not be a walk in the park, but it is going to align you with your geographical place of blessing, because that's critical. Where is your geographical place of blessing? And you've got to be bold enough to be able to say, because I'm talking about folk like, well, where you going? You leaving your good job? What do you listen? I was normally the person who had to have security. I needed to be. I didn't even realize I had that kind of faith. I didn't even know that I was, even I've been in church all my life. I thought I was saved and all that stuff, but I didn't know that I had a level of belief in God to take care of me to make that move. Right? I didn't even know. But when I tell you what I thought I knew about God, I didn't. I learned him in Nashville because I had no comfort zone. I had nothing there that was familiar.
Mhm.
but it shaped me for what I am doing now, believe it or not. It really started shaping me. And people look at you and be like, I don't know how you did that. Me either. I don't even have no answer for that. I can't even tell you. I just did it. But by that same token, Felicia, I can tap into that part of others who are saying, I want to do it, but I'm so afraid to do it. Right?
Mhm.
I get that. I totally get it. And I'm like you. I'm careful when it comes to entrepreneurship when I'm talking to people about starting a business because some people are not built for it.
That's right.
But you can also find those who have what I call a wild streak in them.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
will believe against what they see. And those people, I say to them, listen, let's go ahead and address anything that will hinder you in this process. And you and I were just talking about how an entrepreneur has to prepare their family and friends for that journey too.
That's right.
Because it's not easy, because you're not going to be able to go out as much as you used to. Your time restraints are going to be greater. Your focus is going to be greater. And it ain't personal. It ain't personal. But when destiny calls you, you're almost like the dude in The Alchemist. You're looking at signs along the way. I lost friends because they could not make the mental adjustment to what I was doing. But
Mhm.
me being who I am, I'm just like, you know what? I appreciate the season we had together, but there's something greater calling me, and I got to go after that.
That's
I got
right.
to go after that. Family would not support. My grandfather told me, he said, your life does not depend upon us. This is something greater. So you go on to do what you got to do. And he told my family, leave him alone because this is greater. This is greater. So I'm saying this to somebody today. You may be sitting contemplating. You're contemplating, what should my next move be? What I'm saying to you is to trust your creator. Trust your creator. Somebody said powerful. Felicia, you make it look so easy.
Let me tell you.
Oh, Felicia, tell them.
Only knew. I've been doing this for a very long time. Okay, a very
Yes,
long time. Y'all haven't seen the businesses that failed. Y'all haven't
yes,
seen the nights I cried. Y'all haven't seen the money that wasn't coming in. Y'all haven't seen when I left my job that I had to go into my retirement money to start an organization that God put in my heart as a vision that said, you do your part and I'll take care of the rest.
mhm,
That's the reason why. And I didn't get here by myself. Believe that. It is people and collaborations that I made
mhm.
along the way, relationships that I formed and cultivated like they were diamonds that got me here. Felicia didn't get here by herself. Trust me. There's a testimony. Everybody has a story. Everybody has
Yeah.
a story. But thank you for saying that. It does look flawless.
And we sometimes we can make it look simple, but we have to really tell people that it's our dependence on God. It
Yes.
is our dependence upon His grace to lead us even through the failures. Because there have been days when I question, what are you doing again? Why are you doing this again?
Yes.
Because it doesn't look like the vision God gives you. You see what I mean? It doesn't look like that. But the
Right.
truth of the matter is that, again, what God does is He works behind the scenes and He starts arranging for you to meet certain people at certain times.
Come on
He's
now.
developing you to be able to handle the dynamic of those relationships.
Mhm.
This is why sometimes we say, well, I need to meet someone, but you're not ready yet for that dynamic.
Nope.
That relationship requires a different level of maturity. It requires a different level of understanding and clarity. And so while He's taking you through those moments where you feel stagnated, where things seem to be going slow, He's actually cultivating you for the next level of relationships. Because those relationships require you to be able to hear differently, to speak differently, to feel differently. And so what He does is he'll slow you down until you're able to mature for that level of relationship. Why? Because some of them are not supposed to be your buddies.
Yes.
They're not
Okay.
supposed to be your friend. It's
Mhm.
a business relationship. And if you mistake that and try to make it personal, you're
Mhm.
going to end up in pain.
Yes.
It's not that. So this is why God has to teach you about the different levels of relationships, the different styles of communicating with different levels of relationship. And then he'll prepare you. See, this is the thing I know. He goes before us to prepare a place that where he is, we can be also.
Yeah.
So we have to wait until God goes into that space, cultivate it, build it out so you can show up, because you can't show up like your old man. See, you know what we're doing. We hear a lot of this in the coaching field. Oh, you want to be the best version of yourself. No, you don't. You want to be authentically who you really are.
That's right.
That's what you want. Because if you keep changing versions, you're going to open yourself up for a whole lot of psychosis, because that's nothing more. It really equals code switching. The best version of yourself is pretentious. But if I can get back to my authentic greatness, the way my creator made me, the true authenticity of who I am and who he is in me, then that is the very best version. Ain't no more. Ain't no more.
Yes, that is so true. I love everything you said, because that is so true. Because I know, let me tell you, I'm in the room now with some people who I never, ever thought in my life that I would be in the room with. And you sit and you look and you're like, how did I get here? How did the blessings come like this? Less than 3 years ago, you people didn't even know who Felicia Shankin was. You didn't know who Philadelphia Women's Network Connection was. Now I talk to people and they're like, I've heard of your organization. You know what? And it blows my mind, because you were talking about global. I tell you, I always say God has a sense of humor. I remember, and like I said, in March, we'll be 3 years old. I remember, saying that I wanted to go global at some point. Be careful what you put out there, and God hears.
Right.
Like you say, we're busy making plan, and God laughs at our plans. But I remember saying, I think at the first year, and we wasn't even making money, I was like, at some point, I want to go global. Well, lo and behold, during the pandemic, no doubt, in the middle of the pandemic, what happens? We go global.
Look at that.
Go global. And it just kept going and going and going and going. So the moral of the story, everybody, is never, ever, ever give up. You don't know who's watching. I got my podcast, Unapologetically Me podcast, syndicated in 160 countries because someone saw this digital show here and contacted me and said, I think you would be good at podcasting. But I didn't put the seed out there. Someone else in my community said to me last year in January, Felicia, you should have a podcast. That was put in the universe for me. I didn't even say anything. So, I always come away with the story of always be humble, stay humble if you can, be authentic, be yourself. Because I know sometimes too, Mario, I'll put some post out there and I'm like, oof, I don't know if I should have did that or not. But you know what? It's in my spirit. And sometimes people inbox me and they'll say, well, you were talking to me, or thank you for that message. Right. So you never know what you're doing. Sometimes I'll even send a message to somebody I don't even know. And I'm like, I woke up with you in my spirit. God wants me to deliver this message to you, whether you believe it or not, but this message is for you. So, I can't believe we're like coming up on our time, and we went over a little bit of our time, but it's okay. It's okay, because I'm enjoying the conversation. Yeah. So, and obviously everybody else is too, because we're getting loads and loads of comments, which is awesome. So, Mario, why don't you live closer?
Well, listen, I need to visit Philly. I haven't been to Philly in about 10 years now. When I would come to Philly, I would always have to get a hoagie and a chili cheesesteak. Nobody makes them like that. But can I just say this last thing? I promise you I'm done.
Okay.
For those who are absolutely not understanding where you are right now, may I suggest to you that your tears, your frustration, and even the delays are part of the process. They all mean something, and they're going to prove that they were a part of the process needed. They were mandatory, because you have to have an understanding of the journey. Some of you may not be, I just preached a message not long ago. You're not in the valley, but you're not quite to the mountain. And I want you to understand that. But the journey from the valley to the mountain is exceptionally powerful. It's just about being aware that you're being transformed into your destiny. You're being made over for your destination. I just want to leave that with you. And I hope you can walk in your destiny every single day.
Wow. Let me tell you something. You preached to me today. You spoke to my soul. You spoke to my spirit. You spoke to me because when it's real, you can feel it. You can feel it. And that's why I'm saying, I don't consider you an ordinary pastor because you get down and you can get into the dirt. You can roll around with the best of us and you can still come up and say, listen, I'm going to tell you something now that's going to feed your spirit, your soul, and get you on the path that you were on. Mario, I love having you on today.
I love being with you, Felicia. I promise you I do. Thank you so much. I'm so humble to spend this time with you. I really am. God bless you and your hubby and the little baby dogs and all that stuff. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Yes, little Max, little Max. So below, I have Mario's website there. For those of you who don't know Mario, please connect with him, reach out to him. Mario, how can people also get you in contact with you outside of your website? That's only if you want them to.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Again, there's my website, www.mariocbrown.org. There's some contact information there. You can also reach me at info@mariocbrown.org by email. Just contact me, whatever I can do to help. Please, please, please reach out and share this information, even Felicia's information. Women, if you're looking for empowerment, please connect with her. I totally believe that this may be the bridge to your future. But I'd love to talk with you, to spend some time. www.mariocbrown.org. God bless all of you.
Mario, thank you. Thank you so much. And before everybody leaves, I just want to let you know what's going on in PWNC. We have an event coming up this Thursday, okay, on January 27th. Dr. Obiama Martin, she has been on several magazines. She is a Lisa Nichols trained transformational coach. She is a John C. Maxwell trained coach and everything. This woman she's an international speaker. She's going to be talking about Breathe, BREATHE, 7 strategies to living a stress-free life. That Breathe, there is an acronym for that. I just had her on my podcast that dropped. So she went in really deep about her story, the trauma she went through and everything. So that is on Thursday. The cost of that is $20. You can go to phillywnc.org/upcoming events. You will be able to register from there. Start your business off in 2022. January is almost over. So we're getting ready to go into February. This is how this year is going. So if you haven't done anything at all this month to boost your business or to help you get to that next level, I advise you to come and join us. This is virtual, so there is no excuse that you can't come. You can sit in your pajamas at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The kids are fed, the dog is fed, the husband is fed. You're from work, you can sit down in your pajamas and get some great tools for your business. So Mario, again, thank you for being on. I don't want you to leave, but you and I, we could be here talking all day. But I love the show. And like I was saying, I have to get more men on the show, especially more positive, empowering men such as yourself. So hold on. I'm going to say goodbye to everyone. And thank you again for being on.
Certainly. God bless.
Okay, everyone, you got a great show today. Great guests. You got some nuggets. He dropped some nuggets. He preached to us a little bit. He gave you some information that you can take and apply not only in your business, but also in life. So that's what you want to be intentional about everything that you do, whether it's your business, whether it's your personal life. Be intentional. Just don't be out there walking around blind. Make sure you walk in your purpose if you know what your purpose is. If you don't know what your purpose is, then that's when you have to get with the man upstairs and find out. We all have a purpose. We all have our own gifts. Find out what yours is. So make sure you join us next Tuesday at 12:30 on Unapologetically Me. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Have a great day, everybody, and stay safe. Bye-bye now.